Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, just Daf It. Today we're doing Nedarim, Daf Zion, number 27. We'll discuss the last of the four cases in our parak. Nidre Onsen are not considered a neder. We'll talk about why they're not considered a neder. Or maybe the pshat is that it is a neder, you're just not responsible for it. We'll talk more about that in the Iyam Ben Zion. Let's get started at the bottom of Chavavam Beis. Third line from the bottom. Esi Ravina LaRava. Ravina asked Rava. Now we had a machlokes yesterday, and Rabba and Rava had to explain the Mishnah on Chav Ham base, right? Rabbi Akiva holds neder shehutar miksasa hutar kulo. The Rabbanan don't say neder shehutar miksasa hutar kulo, which is similar to machlokes between Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai. Rabba says that in a case where you say chutz, kulcha masorm chutz me'aba, so then everyone agrees, even Rakiva and Beis Hillel would agree that we don't see neder shehutar miksasa hutar kulo. They only argue in a case where you say zeh v'zeh. I would say John, Steve is Asher, my father is mutter. Rava says the opposite. Rava says no. Everyone agrees if you say zeh v'zeh that both are mutter. Even Beis Shammai would agree to that. Even Rabban would agree to that. Machlokes is the other case where you say chutz, kulchem chutz. Then it's a machlokes between Rameh and Rabbi Yossi, whether you say tfos losh and rishon, or we say Acher Gemara Dvaro Adam Nitfas. Ravina asked Rava the following question: There's a type of neder where part of it remains aser and part of it is mutter. Case another minakal kala, he took a neder from a basket of figs. It's a delicacy at some point in history. They were superior white figs, the tasty ones. If I would have known that the white, delicate figs were among those figs, law you see no there, I wouldn't have taken the neder. Hakakala asura. What's the halach? The kakala, the entire basket of figs, remains asura. However, the superior white ones, those are considered mutter. Achabar Rabbi Akiva Alimed or Akiva was cholik and taught them neder shehutam ksat kula. If part of the neder is annulled, if part of the neder is found to not have worked, namely on the B'no Shuach, so therefore the entire neder is batal, and the whole kakala is mutter. My love, aren't we talking about talking about a case where he specifies. He would have specified, if I would have known, I would have said the black ones and the white ones that are not superior, those are us. The white ones that are superior are mutaros. Rabbi Akiva, and this price reflects between Akiva, Pligi Rabban, and they're going to argue even in that case, which would be like Rabbah. So the Gemara deflects the proof low. But Omer, Ila Yisi Yodea Shalashah was helping. Omer Kol Gagala Asura would have said the whole thing is Asura. What's this passed out? He said the whole thing is Asura. And that's according to Rava. That's the Machlokas. So the rest is Mantana Hadatan Rabbana, and who is the author of the Brisa which says Nedarim Chamisha Bnei Adam Ke'echad. He doesn't want to get benefit from 5 people. There's 5 bitter rivals. The basketball team doesn't like. He's on one basketball team. The other basketball team, 5 players. Doesn't like. Hutar le'echad mem hutar kulan. If he admits that he didn't want to answer one of them, they're all mutter. Chutz me'echad mem. He says, I want to answer all of them except for one of them. Hu mutter ve'hin asurim. Then it's a partial nether. He's mutter. That 5th person that he loves, and the other 4 are asur. Ila Rabba. So how do we can explain this price both according to Rabba and Rabba. Either Rabba, Reisha, Rabbi Akiva. The Reisha is Rabbi Akiva. Right? He says neder shehutar miksas shehutar kula. The Seifa, the Seifa where he says chutz me'echad, everyone agrees in that case. Even Rabbi Akiva and even myself would agree that it's not, the neder remains in effect. Ila Rava, Seifa Rabbanan. According to Rava, the Seifa reflects the opinion of the Rabbanan. They argue in a case of chutz. Reisha, they were called Reisha, where he says zeh v'zeh. Everyone agrees that neder shehutar miksas shehutar kula. The Mishnah, Nidre Onsen, the 4th prototype of a neder which doesn't take effect. He wanted his friend to eat by him. He said, a neder upon you if you don't come and eat lunch by my house. The guy planned on coming, but he got sick. Or his son got sick, he had to take care of his son. He didn't realize in order to get there, he has to cross over a river, and there was no ferry to take him across the river. Not his responsibility, and therefore those are mutter, like the Mishnah says. There's not a problem to violate them, or there's no ned there. We'll talk about that in a second. Oh, Gabra, if is a chvasa b'beidina, there was a certain man. He had proofs. There was a dispute about who owned the piece of land, apparently, according to the article. And he had proofs. He had written documents to support that he was the owner. He deposited them and based it. He couldn't come to court at that time. If I don't come to court within 30 days, then these records, which prove that I own this land, should be batel, should be nullified, shouldn't count. Itness, he planned on coming within 30 days. However, an onus happened, and he wasn't able to come within 30 days. The court throws out these records that support him. Rava says, no, if he didn't come on purpose, that's his fault. But if he was an onus, right? Well, it doesn't say what the onus was. Maybe he got sick or something like that. The Torah doesn't blame a person who's an honest. How do you know? Talks about a woman who was raped, right? The man, obviously, it's talking about Nara Murasa. Actually, a woman who's engaged, she's raped. So the man gets skila. The Nara doesn't get punished at all. Why not? Because she was raped. It was against her will, so she's not responsible. Maybe you tell me killing someone is different. I mean, maybe you are responsible for what happens by onus, but we won't kill someone on something which happens by onus. We say even by Nedarim, which is not Katala, it's not life or death over here. So we say an onus is an onus. Rava, according to Rava, Maishna, Rava says, Ravuna says the schlusim are bata. Rava says the onus. Rava says onus is a good taina. Onus is a relevant taina. If it works by Nedarim, it would work also in the court case. An onus, therefore, you shouldn't nullify my records. Maishna mahadasnan. He gives a get to his wife. He's going out of the country. And he says, I don't come back within 12 months, it's a get. The reason he's giving her a get, he doesn't want her to fall in front of the Yavam. We're talking about a case, presumably, where he doesn't have any children with this wife, and he has a brother who's waiting to Yibum, and he wants to give her a get. He doesn't come back. It's a get. Ma'achshav, right, from the day he left. He didn't plan on dying. He died during the 12 months. Right, a get. We say it's a get. Why is it a get? He didn't plan on dying. It was an honest that he died. It shouldn't be a get. Right? And if you say onus from a patre, onus is like I didn't do something. So he didn't mkayim the tonight. I'm not coming back. He was nenas that he didn't come back because he died. Amri, so the Gemara says Dilma shiny hasam, top of Kozainam and Beis. Do you have a yad in the misfin altar have a gamra v'yav gita? No, that guy. Right? Well, what is his understanding? He wanted to give his wife a get. So if he would have known he was going to die, he didn't plan on dying. If you know he was going to die, he would have given his get without a stipulation before he left, because he wanted his wife to be divorced. So that was included in his understanding of giving the get. So that's not a good raya to what we're talking about. It's a similar discussion beginning with Masechet Ksubos and not Beis and Beis. So the Gemara continues. Ma'ishna Ahuda Amar Lahu. In this case, is brought Ksubos Beis and Beis. Amar Lahu Ilo Asina Mikan Tosin Yomin Lahavi Gita. It says if I don't come within 30 days, it's a get. Asa Paskim Aber, he wanted to come back. Nonetheless, he couldn't ferry across on the 30th day. He couldn't get across the river. The ferry had taken off, the Staten Island ferry, and he couldn't get to Staten Island. He was yelling on the other side of the river, I came, I just can't get across because I can't swim across a long river. Right? And there's no ferry. Amar Shmuel Loshme Masya. Nonetheless, it's considered like he was Mekayim that night he didn't come. Amai Vamenas honest, it wasn't his fault. Right? It was an honest. He wanted to come. Ferry wasn't there. And the verse says, the Miglia shiny Umavra Migla Unse. When it comes to an onus where you could have planned in advance, right? It happens oftentimes the ferry is not there. So that's not really called an onus. It's called out of your control. It's in your control. Come on the 29th day. Come on earlier. It happens. A lot of times it's very common for the ferry not to be there. It only runs twice a day. So it's not called an onus in that case. Rav Huna says that the schusim are bought al michsi. Let's see, asmachta hiva, asmachta lakanya. Asmachta, the the common case of asmach, the people are gambling or something like that, right? And he says if the New York Jets win yesterday, uh, so then, right? If the New York Jets win yesterday, so then you give me $100. The Patriots win, I'll give you $100. Now this guy never suspected in his wildest dreams that the Jets would lose yesterday, right? He thought Zach Wilson would be at least a C quarterback, not an F quarterback. 3 points they put up, terrible. I think he had 8 completions in the entire game. He never intended to give them money. He thought for sure the Jets were 6-3. They're gonna be in first place in the AFC. Not to be. Punt return, 5 seconds left. The Gemara says, when you gamble on something, right? I said I'm going to give you $100 at the Patriots. When you never planned on giving the $100, you never thought that was going to happen. Here also, he never thinks he's not going to come to court, right? He just deposited in court, a safe place to keep his documents. It shouldn't be valid. His kinyan, his words, whatever he said. Shiny hacha, the mitzvah sons of chasan. So the Gemara says here it's different, right? Here he gave already the documents in the hands of the basin, so therefore they have the power now to get rid of them, to throw them out, right? Similarly, if I would have made a bet with somebody over the Jets Patriots games, I would have deposited $100 with the guy. That would be similar to this case over here. The guy gets to hold on, keep the $100, not that's not lakanya to go to my bank account and garnish my wages, take $100, but if he already has the money, he keeps it. The Gemara challenges that if you're holding on to the actual documents, it's not called a smachta. Misha para mixes chova. Someone pays off, he owes $1,000 to somebody. He paid off $500. He's still remaining the malva has the star. Amar, right? If I don't give him the remaining $500 within 30 days, tain lo shtaro. Give him back his star. Meaning give the malva back his star, and he can collect $1,000 the entire sum. He has man volonasa, and the time came and he didn't pay the $500. Rabbi Yossi Amar Yite says give the star back to the malva. He can collect $1,000. Rabbi Yossi Amar Lo Yite, don't give it to him. Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rav Hu, Amar Rav Eilacha. Rabbi Yossi Lacha is not like Rabbi Yossi. Amar Smachta Kanya, who says that Smachta is Kona. Now here the shlish, this third party, is holding on to the document. The Amar Levatan Zichvasa. Here you have to actually, the shlish has to give a document to somebody, make a kinyan from one person to another one. Here, the documents are already in Basin. All they do is to throw them out. It's not transferring ownership to someone else, or just nullifying it, or even not throwing it out, just disregarding the documents. They have no effectiveness in court. That's okay. The halacha is a smachta kanya. The smachta would be kona under certain conditions. V'hu de lo honest, as long as there's no honest. V'hu de kona minei based on chashav, as long as you do a kinyan, a smachta. If you bet on the Jets Patriots game, you come to a based in chashav, you come in front of Sanhedrin. You go to the based in a gadol in Yerushalayim in front of all the rabbis who say, "I'm betting on the Jets Patriots game, $100 on my friend." Right? It's a based in chashav. It's an important based in, or the Supreme Court. Supreme Court of America, Supreme Court of Israel, and you bet on the Jets Patriots game in front of those 9 justices in the Supreme Court of America, then it's valid. It's based in chashav. It's considered. There's no court that's of more importance, at least in America, than the Supreme Court. It would work, whether a state court would work or not. I don't know. It has to be it has to be a based on importance, not just 3 guys you take off. You take from the base medrash and you try to matter another one. That's the conclusion of today's share. Stay tuned for Ian with Ben Sion. We'll talk more about how come Nidrei Onsen are not effective, right? What is the pshat in Nidrei Onsen are not effective? We'll compare it to the fact that Nara Morasa, the woman who's raped, she's not responsible. She's not killed. The Gemara says maybe Ketala is shiny, maybe killing someone is different. We'll talk exactly the fundamentals of why Nidrei Onsen are not chal, or maybe they are chal, but if you violate them, it's not a problem. Stay tuned for Ian with Ben Sion coming up next.